James Bond.
Hello everyone, this is WildandReal007, and ever since I've got my Wii, I've been playing a few good games such as Super Smash Bros., Brawl, Mario Kart Wii, Zelda Mario Galaxy, and a few virtual console games, even though I'm planning to buy more in the future. But recently, my sister picked up a party game for the Wii, so we could all play it. Problem is, she picked up a really crappy one. That crappy game, none other than Game Party. What is Game Party? Watch my review to find out.
Game Party is essentially another half-assed minigame collection for the Nintendo Wii. It contains ugly as hell graphics, horrible control, and most of all, it's just not fun to play in general. But I'm here to tell the public to avoid this game at all costs. Why? Let me begin with the game's graphics. Now, I know that the Nintendo Wii isn't a high-definition console, but even for the Wii, Game Party just looks like absolute shit. The minigame selection screen is dull and boring. Only it has 4 colors: blue, white, green, and a little bit of orange. It's just uninspiring. But the real problem isn't the colors in the main menu. It's the goddamn character models and the environments. Let's take the old guy I'm playing as, for example. Every time he smiles, it makes me cringe, just because of the amount of teeth he has. And I know he's an old guy, but it's just fucking atrocious to look at. It just gives me shivers on my spine every time I see the damn thing. Even worse, there's more character models that are just exact copies of each other. For example, they use the same face, hair with just different color, and possibly the same goddamn shirt. Also, for some strange reason, for a game that supports over 100 useless characters, and I'm not kidding about that, I will explain that later, there is absolutely zero Mii support, meaning that the Miis you created will not work in this game, which is absolutely fucking stupid. As for the rest of the graphics, they're just dull, flat, and there's nothing striking about them. It's just bland, uninspired, and it's just flat out ugly. But if there's one good thing I do have to say, is the fact that the game runs at a smooth frame rate. Except during skee-ball. For some reason, when you throw the ball and you see it roll into one of the holes, it manages to slow down the game. How is that even fucking possible? But besides that, at least the frame rate's decent. But now that's done and over with, let's move on to the game's sound. The sound in Game Party is just as bad as the graphics itself. There's nothing memorable, it's just flat out annoying in the long run. I mean, some of the sound effects are okay, such as, like the basketball hitting the hoops, it sounds almost realistic. But just as little chimes in the crowd cheering, it just doesn't work. Oh, and you'll be hearing the crowd a lot. Sometimes they will be like, "Oh," or "Yay," or something like that. Because they're really over-enthusiastic for something as stupid as playing shuffleboard. How can you be excited about anything like that? As for some of the music you'll hear in the game, again, it's nothing memorable. The majority of it is just stock. And unfortunately, sometimes some of the music sounds like Peter Frampton playing on his guitar using that wah, 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 wah type of thing. The rest of the music in the game, however, consists of pathetic attempts at rock and techno. And also, when you're playing darts, you'll hear some Irish music, which, again, is just nothing memorable or good. After that, I have nothing else to say about the audio, except it's just absolute crap and just no effort put into it at all. So now that's over with, time to move on to what really kills this game. The gameplay. The gameplay here alone puts the final nail in the coffin for any redeeming qualities this game ever had. Like I said earlier on in the review, there's over 100 characters. Why? I don't know, just to put some freaking replay value in this game. The problem is, none of the extra characters do anything. They don't change the gameplay, they don't make your character better or worse, they're just different skins. And that is absolutely useless. Why do you need over 100 fucking characters that don't improve the game? As for the minigames, there's a total of 7, and sadly, the majority of the minigames don't work the way they are supposed to. even though the game gives you instructions on how to play them. The first game is table hockey, and it works a little bit similar to Wii Plays Laser Hockey, but the problem is, this one is not fun. All you really have to do is point at the screen and just hit the puck back and forth and make sure you don't hit it in your own goal. Problem is, it could be so oversensitive to the part where you could accidentally hit it in your own goal, or it'll just go around the place every time you start another round. Apparently, this is the only game that controls decently using the Wii Remote's controls. But overall, table hockey is just flat out boring. Oh, one last thing, using the A button is useless. It'll most likely make your little hitter thing, I don't know what it's called, make it land on the puck and get you a puck foul, or a fuck foul as I call it. The next game is darts, and this one is really inconsistent in how you control it. First, you gotta lock onto the board using the A button, then you just throw it. And no matter how lightly or hard you throw it, it'll be completely random whether you hit the board or not. Either you will get a bullseye or it will fly right off the board. No matter how light or hard you throw it. It's very inconsistent and, it's not fun at all. The next game is Hoop Shoot. Or it should be better named Basketball Fucking Chuck E. Cheese's. This is yet another inconsistent game, whether how hard you throw it or not. You can either get 3-pointers or make the basket or completely miss, no matter how straight you are. And this is all you do. That's all there is to freaking Hoop Shoot. The next game is Skill Ball, which is pretty much a rename of Skee Ball, but it just controls similarly to Wii Sports' bowling. Problem is, this is another inconsistent one. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And all you gotta do, just like in real life Skee Ball, is just get as much points as you can. That's it. Up next is Shuffleboard, and it's obviously the most boring game out of the package. First of all, the inconsistent controls come in here again. You gotta push forward as lightly or as hard as you can, and either it will go so slow you don't make it to a point, or so hard that it'll go right off the board no matter what you do. It just sucks. Pin Cup is without a doubt the worst fucking game in the entire package. Why? The controls here are not inconsistent, they're just flat out broken. Anything you do, it's nearly impossible to get the thing in the cup. And besides, this is essentially beer pong without the beer. Maybe that's why my sister bought the damn game in the first place. And finally, we have Trivia, which sadly is the best game out of the package. Why? First of all, the controls work. All you have to do is to spin the wheel and choose choices, that's it. And some of them range from historical events to Hannah Montana questions. And I'm not kidding about the Hannah Montana questions. So, being the best game out of the package is actually sad. Now, the overall gameplay, if it weren't for the goddamn bad controls, maybe this game would have been fun. But sadly, it isn't thanks to the broken-ass controls. Now, let's move on to the final scores. Graphics get a 1 out of 10 for ugly, repetitive character models, flat and bland environments, and it just isn't a pleasing package to look at whatsoever. Sound gets a 1 out of 10 for using crappy stock music, boring-ass sound effects and crowd cheering, and for the fact that they ripped off Peter Frampton's music. And finally, gameplay gets a 2 out of 10, mainly because the majority of the games don't work while only 2 of them work decently, which really kills the game experience.
So, what's my final opinion on Game Party?
Game Party gets an overall rating of 1 out of 10.